So let's talk about the part of marketing that we don't address enough, I think, as business owners who've been in business for a while. It's the part where you keep chasing more leads, posting more content, showing up harder and louder and more consistently, and still sales feel slow. Your calendar's dry and you're tired, but instead of asking, how can I make this easier on myself? You start blaming the algorithm, your energy, or yourself, when the truth is, your content, it's solid. Your offer, it's amazing. But if the back end of your business is no longer working for you, you're going to keep spinning your wheels trying to outpost and out hustle and out create the problem that is not about effort at all. So in this episode, I'm breaking down what actually shifted when I stopped trying to market my way out of burnout and started fixing the systems that were quietly sabotaging my conversions. Also, if you've ever wondered why things still feel hard, even though you've been in business long enough to know better, yeah, this episode is going to be for you. Welcome to the Revolutionary CEO Podcast, the space where women building solo businesses come to create marketing systems that honor their capacity, not exploit it. I'm your host, Letitia Lynch, marketing strategist, boy mom, and woman in pursuit of a life and business that actually feels good. If you've ever been sold the dream of freedom only to find yourself trapped in someone else's version of success, this podcast is your permission slip to do things differently. Every week, I'll share real strategies for sustainable marketing and lead generation that work with your energy, your priorities, and the season you're in. You'll hear behind-the-scenes breakdowns of what's working in my business and with my clients, plus bonus episodes answering real questions from Revolutionary Society members. And soon, you'll hear from other women entrepreneurs redefining success on their terms, protecting their peace, their joy, and their legacy while they build. This isn't hustle culture. This isn't survival mode. This is revolutionary leadership, marketing, messaging, and momentum that matches your ambition and your real life. Okay, now listen, what I'm walking you through today, this is the kind of work I have to constantly guide clients through in Revolutionary Society, and even when I'm with people for 5 days during the Lead Overflow Challenge, because when you're stuck in that cycle of I'm doing all the things, but no one's buying, the answer isn't posting more or tweaking your hook or chasing new leads every damn day. It's building systems that give your content somewhere to go, because if there's no strategy behind the scenes, even the best content will collect likes, not clients. And that's the difference inside Revolutionary Society. We don't build strategies that depend on hustle because you can't do it. We build marketing systems that sell with clarity and not chaos. So if the back end of your business is feeling like a junk drawer you're scared to open, then stay with me for this episode, but also check the link in the description because I want you to check out Revolutionary Society. So first, I want to unpack what we're talking about in this episode. So the first thing is why I paused content and started with my website. Second is how I used SEO to bring in aligned leads without lifting a finger. The next is the overlooked systems I audited, including old email sequences, and what I called core content and how I rebuilt mine across every platform. Why your top of funnel, aka lead magnet, might be attracting the wrong people. And these are the quiet changes that made the biggest impact on my conversion. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about the actual things I did when I hit that moment of, I can't show up like this anymore. Not just because I didn't feel like it, of course, but because the way I was running my business just quite frankly, just wasn't sustainable anymore. And I've been talking to you about this for a while. I didn't want to rely on daily content, and I didn't want to keep pushing out new stuff every week just to stay visible. So instead of trying to be more motivated, because I wasn't, I looked at the systems that could carry the weight for me. And I started with the thing that often is most overlooked. So first, I started with my website. And, if people are landing on your website but not buying, that's not a content problem. That's a conversion problem. And when I looked at my own site, I had to admit it looked good, but it didn't move people. First of all, the messaging was too long, too damn long, too wordy, too focused on what I offer, not what it changes. Also, people were not staying on my site. They weren't clicking. I don't know what they were doing. I even have, Hotjar? Anyways, it was giving thanks, but no thanks. So I ended up stripping it back. I reworked the copy to focus more on outcomes and not just features. I tightened up the navigation so it didn't feel like a maze. And I asked myself, if someone landed here with no context, like a stranger, they didn't come from social media, would they understand what I do and why it matters? Would they trust me? And once I did that, people started spending longer time on my site. They clicked more, they explored my services, and sales started showing up without me having to post a single piece of content on social media. And people were asking about services that I wasn't talking about on social media. So if your site is getting traffic but no conversions, that ain't a pricing issue or a social media content issue, it's a clarity issue. The second thing is I fixed my SEO strategy. And here's the question that hit me like a truck. If I didn't post on social media for 30 days, how would new people find me? Right? And that's when I knew my visibility was not 100%, but very dependent on me showing up actively. And I needed to change that. And so I pulled up my website, my blog, my podcast, my YouTube, because those are the things that are heavily based on SEO and people finding you. And I realized, okay, my keywords were wildly outdated. They reflected the older version of me, my old services, my old keywords, my old focuses. They weren't aligned with my current offers or the people that I actually wanted to attract right now today. And so I had to rebuild my entire SEO foundation. I updated my blog post titles, my headers, and topics to reflect today's messaging. I then had to go into YouTube and I rewrote my video descriptions, my tags. I redid my playlist, literally all of it. I went to my podcast. I changed the podcast episode topics to align with the kind of problems my current client that I want to work with is going through and Googling. And the results, well, again, website traffic went up. Inquiries started coming in from people I didn't know. Actually, most of my new clients last year for services were people I did not know. People were finding my services without a single post from me because I don't talk about my services on social media usually. I'm trying to now, but that's the power of SEO, and it turns your content into a sales team even when you're off the grid, which was extremely important to me. Next, I audited my email systems. Now, I really want to talk email because I know so many of y'all have lead magnets and nurture sequences because that's how people help you build them, right? I help my clients build these all the time. But when's the last time you actually audited them? Like really looked at them? When I looked at my shit, I found broken links, outdated call to actions, whole groups of people who never even got part of the sequence because of a bad tag or a filter. And I realized this is why people weren't converting. It wasn't that they weren't interested because they wouldn't have gotten it in the first place, right? If that, it's that they weren't being guided. So I ended up having to rebuild those systems. I updated copy to reflect my audience and where they actually are today. I shifted from here's what you get to here's what this changes. There were so many just updates that I just didn't think to do. I restructured the email timing so the pacing actually supported decision making instead of rushing it. I'm not going to act like it was fun. It's definitely not a glamorous process, but I'm telling you, it worked. Email isn't a one and done situation. It's one of the most powerful tools, but only if it's actually working. And it's something that you're going to have to audit and keep up with on a regular basis. Next, there's a next. I rebuilt my core content. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I want to talk about your profiles, the stuff that people see before they ever hear your voice, your LinkedIn bio, your Instagram highlights, your pinned post, your Google My Business profile, your YouTube account, all of these things, all of this stuff that sits there that comes with these accounts is called core content. It's the digital front door of your business. And when I looked at mine, it was dusty, like 2019 dusty. So I updated mine. My LinkedIn About section needed to reflect my evolved message. My Instagram highlights, which were embarrassingly old, my pinned posts so that they told a story. Even my Facebook and Google My Business bios. Because people do check those before buying. And I even started collecting more Google reviews because strangers trust stranger reviews. Think about how you buy. I don't buy nothing on Amazon without an Amazon review. Because the question I asked was simple. If someone found me today with zero context, they didn't come from social media, they weren't following me on Instagram or Threads, could they figure out who I helped and how to work with me within 90 seconds. And if the answer is no, the core content is costing you leads. Lastly, I upgraded my lead magnet. And let's be honest here. Sometimes your lead magnet is the real problem because first of all, I'm not going to act like mine. When I make lead magnets, they're solid. I have something called $1 million lead magnet. I teach people lead magnets. Yes, it was converting, but it was calling in the wrong people for where I am right now. Remember, I changed who I want to work with. And that misalignment was showing up everywhere in my list quality, my sales calls, my conversations, the people in my membership or working with me in one on one. So I stopped and asked, who do I actually want to work with? And what would that person need to see, learn, or understand to be ready to buy? And to do the work once they started buying from me, because that matters too for service providers. And so then I created a lead magnet around that. Not just something that gets downloads and gets people on my email list, but something that pre-qualifies and primes the right audience. So now my list is full of people who are closer to the buying decision, which has always been my point of making lead magnets. But also, when I make the offer, the alignment is there. They're the quality of people who do the kind of work that I want them to do and get results. You don't need more leads. Half the time, you just need better ones. And that starts with a lead magnet that filters, not just collects. By the way, if this is hitting and you're realizing, oh shit, my backend hasn't been updated as well since 2019 or however long it's been since you've changed. That's literally what we fix, even just at the start in Lead Overflow Challenge and Revolutionary Society. I help you stop scrambling for visibility and start building systems, specifically in Revolutionary Society, that quietly sell in the background. All you have to do is show up when you want and not when you have to. Both links are going to be in the show notes for you. And I want to bring this all the way home, okay? Because we talked about a lot today, and I shared a lot of what I had to do to get where I am. Because if you've been stuck in that loop of more leads, more content, more showing up, but nothing's shifting, here's what I want you to hear. The problem isn't that you're not working hard enough. It's that the infrastructure of your business hasn't caught up with the level of visibility that you already have. You've put out a lot of content. So here's exactly what I did to change that without posting more, launching more, or chasing more leads. I paused new content for a while and fixed what was already out there. I couldn't even think of new content when I was trying to figure myself and my business out anyway. Instead of scrambling to create more, I made the content I already had actually work much harder for me. Okay. I overhauled my website and my messaging by simplifying the words, making the outcomes clear, and created a site experience that actually moves people to take action, even strangers. I rebuilt my search engine optimization SEO strategy. I updated it on every SEO platform that I had, my blog, my podcast, my YouTube, my Google My Business listing, to reflect who I serve now and how I want to be discovered. I audited and fixed my email automations. I stopped letting broken sequences and outdated nurture emails quietly sabotage my sales behind the scenes because it was supposed to be helping me in the first place. I updated my core content across my platforms. I went to LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't even use Facebook. My IG highlights, my pinned post, and my bios, they all now actually reflect what I do and how I help. No more sending mixed signals. And I reworked my lead magnets, not to get more people, but to get the right people, people who are already definitely halfway to a yes before they even landed on the page, but also the kind of people that when they hire me, they're going to do the work and trust the process. So here's the truth. None of this was flashy. I did build in public, but it wasn't sexy. And most of it, nobody clapped for me. No one was excited. It wasn't I made $1 million overnight. But when I tell you it changed the entire way my business moves, how I get to feel within my business, how I get to live my life around it, I mean it. This is what it looks like to build a business that sells with systems and not stress. Because if the back end is broken, I'm telling you, no amount of content can carry that weight for you. In fact, you're going to be pulling more weight with content to keep up. So before you post another reel or build another funnel, pause, look under the hood and fix the foundation first, because I can guarantee there's something there you need to update. Now, if you're tired of feeling like the only way to get leads is to keep posting, keep pitching, keep pushing, and deep down you know you cannot continue to sustain that, then this is your sign to stop trying to do more and start fixing what you already have. And I have 2 ways that I'm happy to help you do so. The first, that I've been telling you all along, is the Lead Overflow Challenge, which is where I will help you get clear on how much marketing you actually need based on your capacity, your goals, and what you've already built, so that you can sell smarter and easier. And if you want ongoing support to install a lead generation system that is able to adapt with you all year long, not just in one season, but every season, whether you're in launch mode or life mode, then you belong inside a revolutionary society. That's where we build businesses that bring in leads without you having to be in hustle mode 24/7, because the work you've already done, I mean, it should really be working harder than you. Harder than you. Links will be in the show notes. I appreciate seeing you in this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the Revolutionary CEO podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform and leave a review to let me know the moments you enjoyed most. Substackers, Spotify users, and YouTubers, leave me a comment with your biggest takeaway or questions from the episode. And be sure to connect with me on Instagram, YouTube, or Threads. I'm at Her Marketing Coach. Talk to you next week.